Thanks so much for spending your Sunday night with us. I'm Matt Holzaffel. We start tonight with some good news. So far, no new cases of coronavirus in Montana today. The total for the state remains at 455. Cascade County has 15 confirmed cases, but only 2 currently active. Lewis and Clark County has 16 confirmed cases, but just like Cascade County, only 2 of those are active. Some Montana gym owners have started a petition in an attempt to convince Governor Bullock to allow gyms to reopen under Phase 1. One gym owner from Billings created the petition about a week ago and already has close to 5,000 signatures. MTN spoke with the manager at Crossroads Fitness Center, a supporter of the petition. Crossroads argues that gyms can implement the necessary safety guidelines to help prevent further spread of the virus. Changes could include eliminating some equipment to make sure clients are away from each other when working out. There are also marked floors to indicate proper social distancing and have temperature checks at the front door.
Where do you go where you grab a sterilization bottle and sterilize your own piece of equipment? Only a gym. I have not seen anybody at this grocery stores or anywhere else sterilizing anything after I touch it. So I just feel like this is a safe place, sterile place to be.
Under the current plan, gyms aren't allowed to open until Phase 2. This past week, retailers opened their doors for the first time in a month, and tomorrow bar owners will do the same. But how will drinking establishments that thrive on social interaction operate using social distancing? MTN's Lindsay Hyatt spoke with 2 local bars about their plans to keep the customers both social and distanced.
Over a month of no social drinking in Montana is about as uncommon as the pandemic the nation is facing. Ask any bar owner in Great Falls and they'll tell you.
We've never been in this position before.
I have great-grandparents and grandparents who were in the bar business, and nobody has ever seen anything like this.
Bar manager of 8 years, DIANNA OLSON, and bar managing legacy Lexi Jones are both learning to adapt to a barred bar scene.
We're just going to play it by ear. I'm not really sure how this is all going to work out.
There's been lots of changes, lots of talks, lots of setting tables, moving them, trying to do what's best for our customers, and also get us open.
Both managers are committed to playing by the rules. Cowboys bar customers will complete a temperature and ID check upon entry and stay seated while in the facility, drinking from plastic cups throughout the night.
I do have signage. I do have signage with the rules, the new stipulations and regulations, our new hours, and we're going to be really strict about it.
New bar goers will also use plastic cups and will sanitize their hands after each drink order and sit while in the building, either at a table by the bar, outside on the patio, or in the casino.
We have buckets with bleach sanitizer. Anytime anybody's moving or leaving a table, their spot will be sanitized. And we also have hand sanitizers for all of our employees, so as they take a drink order, they're actually going to sanitize everybody's hands.
But it won't be all rules and rigmarole. There will be mingling.
People don't have to stay with the groups they came with. So we will ask people to get to a table and sit down, but they may be seated with people that they didn't come with.
And music.
I was thinking about, instead of doing karaoke, maybe doing just DJs so people could at least request music that they want to hear.
After more than a month of empty bar stools, these bar managers are excited to see their regulars return.
A lot of them have been contacting me, messaging me, are you open? So I expect we'll get quite a few people back.
I know a lot of people want to get back out and see some faces and get a chance to kind of socialize a little bit. So we're really excited for that, and we know that a lot of our loyal patrons are excited too.
In Great Falls, Lindsay Hyatt, MTN News.
Well, according to Governor Bullock's Phase 1 reopening guidelines, all bars will have to close by 11:30 p.m. and follow social distancing guidelines. For more details on those stipulations, head to our website. Well, turning to weather now, we've seen clouds break apart for an overall beautiful day for many in north central Montana. Our Storm Tracker weather team is with us to tell us more. Grant Garland joins us now. Grant?
All right, Matt. Well, you're exactly right. Especially from the start of this morning to this afternoon, we were able to see the clouds break apart for a beautiful day for a lot of us. And taking a look at, well, our radar right now, we have seen a break in the clouds for many of us in north central Montana. Looks absolutely gorgeous. The rain is pushing out of Daniels County, but how much rain did we receive? Well, looking at our map, looking at only 200 inches of rain in Missoula. As you head out to Glasgow, though, almost 0.5 of an inch of rain. So you guys definitely got a downpour, especially within the last 5 hours. As we take a look outside of Lewistown, 43 degrees, not seeing a wind gust, but with that 12-mile-per-hour wind, it does feel a little cooler with temperatures at 37 degrees. That's what it feels like outside right now. 44 in Helena, 38 in Great Falls. Head on over to Missoula, 41 and 43 in Lewistown. Now today's high did get up to 60 in Helena. The record though was set back at 84 degrees in 1966. That was also the year that the song Wild Thing by the Trogs was popular. I know, hopefully that song gets stuck in your head. Coming up later though in the show, we'll talk about a shift in temperatures as well as a spring storm on the way for the middle part of the work week. Don't go away. Matt?
All right, thanks, Grant. Well, the race to reopen the economy is picking up speed. So far, 38 states have eased restrictions and 6 more will follow suit tomorrow and Tuesday. This as the death toll from coronavirus continues to rise. So far, more than 67,000 people have died. President Donald Trump addressed those issues and more in a virtual town hall tonight. NIKOLE KILLION reports from the White House.
Lincoln Memorial.
In a virtual town hall from inside the Lincoln Memorial, President Trump said repeatedly a vaccine to prevent coronavirus will be available by the end of the year.
I think we're going to have a vaccine by the end of the year. Now, the doctors would say, well, you shouldn't say that. I'll say what I think.
The president said he will encourage governors and private universities to open schools back up again in the fall, and he defended his support of hydroxychloroquine. That's despite the lack of any large high-quality studies showing the drug works for patients with coronavirus and the significant safety concerns of medical experts. As for a second wave,
will it come back? It might. It could. Some people say yes, but it will pass.
There were more protests to reopen state economies over the weekend.
End this darn shutdown. It's unconstitutional. It's killing more people than you think you're saving.
In both Oregon and Minnesota, so-called reopen protesters clashed with healthcare workers who were counter-protesting. The coordinator of the White House's coronavirus task force chastised protesters who are not social distancing, like these in Michigan.
It's devastatingly worrisome to me personally, because if they go home and infect their grandmother or their grandfather who has a comorbid condition and they have a serious or an unfortunate outcome, they will feel guilty for the rest of our lives.
But the economic pain that's driving the protest is clear. More than 30 million Americans have filed for unemployment over the past 6 weeks. As the Senate heads back to work Monday, the White House now indicates it may hold off on a fourth relief package until it sees the results of previous efforts. NIKOLE KILLION, CBS News, the White House.
And the House will not be back in session tomorrow. Supreme Court justices will begin to hear arguments Monday by telephone. Last Saturday, we showed you the new weekend meal program at St. Vincent de Paul. It's one of many community programs on the rise during the pandemic. So much so that those who used to simply benefit now are needed to help out. M10's David J. has more.
Golden Gable is homeless and works at St. Vincent de Paul.
I take temperatures, make sure the dining room is clean, make sure everybody has a pleasant experience. And if somebody gets out of hand, I step in. No physical contact, just ask them to leave.
Gable volunteered when workers who are at high risk could not come in because of COVID-19.
I've just been doing it since it started. I was cold outside and I just came inside because he said he wanted some help inside and I just stayed.
St. Vincent de Paul has been good for Gable.
I have really bad anxiety problems, and this is a safe place for me, so I can actually talk here. Like if I'm out on the street, I won't talk to anybody. I came in mostly because my counselors are here. It's a safe place, so I like to keep it a safe place. Everybody's always a calming experience.
He talked about the homeless population in Billings.
There's the mental health homeless. There's a bunch of individuals that will not talk to anybody at all. There's people that like to go around and help each other.
To see volunteers on the inside who are homeless that are willing to help, is that any kind of inspiration for you?
Yes, they're we're out here struggling and everything, but they still have a heart where they want to still help,
Yeah, it does that, at least they're willing to help out. We all help each other out here when we can. We stick together in groups.
The more responsibility I have, the more humble I get, I think. I've learned that it's not all about me. It's the funnest time I've ever had in my life in a long time.
Had COVID not happened, we never would have known that the friends that we served were capable or wanted to step up and help in that way. Remember, these are folks that are working for no wages, just to be a part of this and to help their brothers and sisters. It's beautiful.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
And Bartol says he expects St. Vincent de Paul to continue with homeless volunteers even after the crisis. Coming up, farmers who are interested in growing pulse crops now have an opportunity to learn more through a new podcast series. Our Montana Ag Network feature is coming up.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 10 o'clock news continues on Montana's News Leader.
Welcome back. Farmers who are interested in growing pulse crops now have an opportunity to learn more through a new podcast series titled Growing Pulse Crops. With more on that podcast series we'll be covering and how farmers can download it, here's the Montana Ag Network's Russell Nemitz.
Well, as more farmers across our region become interested in raising pulse crops like chickpeas, peas, and lentils, the Pulse Crop Working Group saw an opportunity to reach more farmers through a new podcast series titled Growing Pulse Crops.
We got together with a group of farmers who are all members of the Northern Pulse Growers Association, as well as USA Dry Pea and Lentil Council, and we wanted to know from them, what's the best format in which to deliver, research findings, and just bring this information to a broader audience. And, to be honest, the Pulse Crops podcast wasn't even on my mind at the time. That had not even occurred to me, even though I listen to and enjoy several different podcast series. But that was something people, the farmers in particular, brought up, that they listen to podcasts, on long drives or, in the tractor. And they find that to be a really great way to listen to information.
Hosted by Tim Hamrick, the series will follow pulse crop farmers through the growing season and dive into the research that's helping them through some of the challenges they face.
We're talking about issues and decisions you're making kind of as the season goes. So the episodes are designed to be concurrent with what folks are doing during the growing season. So right now, we're talking about the pre-emergence herbicides, we're talking about seed treatment choices, and we're also visiting with growers during the series so we can bring in, folks that maybe are new to pulse crops, hear what other farmers are doing.
Now, if you'd like to receive the podcast on your cell phone, all you have to do is subscribe to the series through Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or of course, any other podcatcher app. In Billings, Russell Nemitz, MTN News.
And Russell says farmers can also learn more about the new podcast by visiting growingpulsecrops.com. The East Helena Boy Scouts are raising money for summer camp by selling their annual picnic tables, but they're doing it a bit differently during the pandemic. Here's MTN's Lexi Aguayo with more.
The Troop 212 Boy Scouts put in hands-on work to build these picnic tables. ROI Timber donated the wood. Local businesses donated the hardware for the boys to build and sell these tables to fundraise various activities such as summer camp.
It's important that we continue to do this because we need these funds to be able to continue to function as a troop. I think it's important that we are able to do that.
Troop 212 cannot meet because of the pandemic, so what they're doing is dropping off materials for each scout to build a part of the table on their own. So now scouts, with the guidance of their families, are individually building these tables.
I feel pretty lucky because I don't think most people will be able to build picnic tables by themselves with their dads.
The boys got to work with their families and do a lot of one-on-one with mom and dad, putting the tables together and learning a lot of skills that maybe the parents don't have the time to teach, but now it's kind of forced upon.
The troops and their families made 40 tables total as of Sunday. By this time in 2019, Troop 212 said they had 60 tables sold. As of Sunday, only 20 tables have been sold so far.
Usually we have a large component of businesses buy tables, and with the businesses being shut down and their future unknown, they haven't made the large purchases that they normally make by this time. So we're hoping with the orders starting to resend and the people are able to start getting back to work that we'll start seeing some of those business orders come in.
In East Helena, I'm Alexi Aguayo, MTM News.
One table costs $225 and will help fund the Scouts trip to Yellowstone should it reopen this summer.
Doesn't sound that bad. Coming up, I'll break down the spring storm expected to hit Wednesday into Thursday, as well as your Cinco de Mayo forecast. Welcome back, everybody. I hope that you have had a great end to your weekend and ready for a great start to your work week. But looking out right now, it looks beautiful and calm. quite the different story for some folks still in Daniels County that are looking at some rain. 38-degree temperatures with that wind speed though at 9 miles an hour, even though it's just, slightly not really any registering what we're used to getting. It feels like 31 degrees. That was a mouthful. I apologize there. Helena, 44 degrees, 8-mile-per-hour winds. Makes it feel a little bit cooler at 40 degrees. Overall, not seeing really too shabby any temperatures. 50 degrees in Havard, 38 in Cut Bank. Out towards Spokane, 49 degrees. Down towards Butte, 42. Nobody is in the 30s just yet, but that will happen as we head throughout the night. West winds at 18 miles an hour up in Havard. Towards Cut Bank, 24 miles an hour. Over the last 3 hours, we have been looking at a clearing trend continuing for north central Montana. However, though, as you do head up towards Daniels County, looking at places like Muskogee, still getting a little bit of that action as it pushes off into Canada, and not though any major concerns. Low pressure that brought us all that rain, yeah, that's going to continue to move towards South Dakota. As that happens, high pressure really builds into the area, allowing for us to really be nice, dry, and see a lot of that sun. But don't worry, for the farmers out there that need that rain, that is going to be the case coming Wednesday to Thursday. And that's all thanks to a cold front that gets closer towards us by Wednesday afternoon, allowing for a lot of us to see rain. Some of us, yes, could see some snow. It's going to be, though, mixed in with rain. I don't think that this is going to be a big problem at all. We will see mostly rain, and it's really going to become a statewide thing with this spring storm. It is going to continue to stay with us. Cut Bank through Lewistown all the way down towards Billings and back towards Missoula and Kalispell. 3:30 in the morning on Thursday, we will be able to fall asleep to that rain, which I love doing that. It reminds me of back home. Still by 12 in the afternoon on Thursday, still looking at a lot of us getting rain, and that's going to be good news. Now, how much rain is expected? I can't tell you that just right yet. We're going to have to wait till we get closer to that day. But by Friday, 12 p.m., still looking at a few clouds out and about, but we're going to start to see a drying and clearing trend for the weekend. As far as what we can expect for the next 12 hours, we are looking at temperatures going to flirt with that freezing mark. By 5 a.m., 35 degrees, looking at clear skies, and that's going to really allow for our temperatures to dive down. By 8 a.m., 42 degrees with mostly sunny skies. And for Helena, you guys looking at 5 a.m., just a little bit warmer at 38. Going to still see a few clouds out and about, but by 8 a.m., clouds will start to break apart. It will be a nice morning for us all. As far as our winds are concerned, we are looking at 30 to 40 mile per hour wind speeds just there in the next 5 hours. Up in Cut Bank, 10 to 20 though in Great Falls as well as Helena. We are expecting a breezy day as we head throughout tomorrow, so heads up, it will be a breezy one. As far as your 7 days are concerned, Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo, more sun than clouds, rather, 65 degrees. That dyslexia really does come into play. Wednesday into Thursday, looking at spring storm making its way into our area. And for Helena, too. Cinco de Mayo, looking at mostly sunny skies. Wednesday to Thursday, though, we are going to expect a chance for showers and thunderstorms, all thanks to that spring storm. Don't go away. I'll look at your full forecast later on the show. We'll be back right after this break.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 10 o'clock news continues on Montana's News Leader.
It's a huge chunk of money every month. $2 billion more added to the federal government's SNAP program. While that helps with uncertainty caused by coronavirus, how long will that boost continue? Chris Stewart is looking into the impact as our country works to rebound.
Life can change in an instant. Jenny Showalter can tell you that.
I'm a single mom of two. I have a 1-year-old and a 6-year-old. I basically became a single mom of two overnight. Their father passed away end of October 2018.
She can also tell you about being a single mom, looking for work in a pandemic with 2 kids now home around the clock.
It's impossible to have hours enough to pay my bills, to pay my rent, to pay my car insurance, to put food on the table, to buy diapers, buy wipes. I mean, there's so many things that a single mother has to buy daily, weekly, monthly, that food is nearly impossible anymore.
That's why she is one of the estimated 36 million Americans on SNAP, With coronavirus hurting businesses and putting people out of work nationwide, the government is giving SNAP an emergency boost, increasing monthly benefits by 40%.
There's no living high off the hog whenever you're on SNAP benefits.
Amy Jo Hutchinson has lived in poverty all her life. She used to be on SNAP herself.
I also read that each senator has authorized $40,000 for state office furniture and furnishings, and this amount is increased each year to reflect inflation. That $40,000 a year for furniture is $360 more than the federal poverty guidelines for a family of 7.
In February, her congressional testimony on poverty in America went viral.
So shame on you. Shame on you, and shame on me, and shame on each and every one of us who haven't rattled the windows of these buildings with cries of outrage at a government that thinks their office furniture is worthy of $40,000 a year and families and children aren't.
Earlier this year, the White House proposed 2021 budget called for $181 billion in cuts to SNAP over the next decade. The USDA planned to put in stricter work requirements to receive benefits, a move then they said would encourage recipients to move towards self-sufficiency. But that was then. Coronavirus is now. While those cuts and changes are still included in the proposed budget, the Department of Agriculture sent us a statement saying, in part, the agency will be as flexible as it can be moving forward. In a time advocates see as an example of why SNAP is important. Whether you're a single mom of 2,
I'll just bluntly straight truth. We wouldn't have any food on the table.
or someone struggling, now looking for help you never thought you would need.
One of the biggest takeaways that I'm seeing is that the safety net is actually acting as a safety net, right? I mean, it's catching people who have typically never had to rely on assistance.
Several states have already started loosening their stay-at-home restrictions, but by the end of the week, more than half of the country will be starting to reopen. Our Lindsay Boach spoke with one expert who says there's some science to helping your children ease out of isolation.
This is a global pandemic. Things are going to be different as we move back out of quarantine and into society.
These past few weeks have been hard on most Americans.
We are all missing out on the things that we're used to, things that used to feel really good and make us really happy.
And as we start thinking about what the future might look like, children's psychologist Laura Anthony says we could be seeing some changes in our children's behavior.
Most of us as parents are seeing signs of stress or sadness or grief or frustration, disappointment in our kids. And we need to really be okay with letting them feel those things.
Anthony says it's important to talk to our kids and share our feelings with them and explain to them what the next few weeks may hold. For example, if you go out and about, having to wear a mask, staying 6 feet apart, and remembering to wash your hands.
Our kids are going to feel more in control when they know what they can do as they're kind of coming back out into society. I mean, it's good for the rest of us too. And it's okay to say the reasons why we need to do those things.
She also says it's important to try and lessen the stress that we put on ourselves as parents working from home and helping with schoolwork.
We're all just doing the best that we can. And I think parents should not feel guilty. Offer themselves a little bit of kindness and a little bit of grace. They're not in this alone. We're all struggling. And all you can do is the best you can. That's all any of us can do, is the best that we can.
I'm Lindsay Boach reporting.
Anthony says it's important to pay attention if your child feels overwhelmed to the point where they can't function. That's when you might need to seek help from a professional. We're back after this.
Welcome back, everyone. Tomorrow will be a windy day with some wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour. So May the 4th be with you. All the Star Wars fans knew that. By Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo, mostly sunny skies at 65 degrees. And then in Helena, we are going to be looking at a windy day too in store for us all. We're going to see some wind gusts up to again around 30 miles an hour. But then Cinco de Mayo, looking at mostly sunny skies. Temperatures 66 degrees. Heads up though, spring storm on Wednesday.
Thanks so much for watching. Good night, Montana.